Hey everybody, Matthew Coller here with a Vikings free agency update. The Minnesota Vikings have landed their replacement for Danielle Hunter. They have signed Jonathan Greenard, who is an edge rusher from the Houston Texans. They sign him to a 4-year, $76 million deal that also includes $42 million guaranteed. Of course, the first question is, does this mean Danielle Hunter is done as a Minnesota Viking? The answer is very, very likely yes, that Danielle Hunter is unlikely to return, and Jonathan Greenard will be the guy who is taking his place as an edge rusher. Of course, the Vikings will have more needs to fill as well, and they have reported interest in someone like Christian Wilkins. They have an open defensive tackle spot. They need another edge rusher and a lot more work to do. But Jonathan Greenard had a real true breakout season last year. He had 12 and a half sacks for the Houston Texans, also 48 pressures on 405 pass rush snaps. He set career highs across the board in total snaps, pass rushing snaps. PFF grade was his second highest next to 2021, but the most with this much playing time. And he proved to be a top-notch edge rusher. Now, as he signs with the Vikings, that number of snaps may go up as he is joining with a big contract and will be expected to take on a huge role. But he is somebody that really fits the outside linebacker type of mold, but also is big enough to be a difference maker in the run game. He is 263 pounds. He graded above average the last 2 years when it came to run defense. And I think that would be a factor for Brian Flores. He's somebody that, Brian Flores would be looking for as an outside linebacker type who could make an impact in all areas of the game. So the Vikings have their first big signing in Jonathan Greenard, who is a player that, with the Houston Texans developed over several years into that spot and now becomes a centerpiece of the Vikings defense for the future. In losing potentially Danielle Hunter here, that does mean that they will have to replace a lot of sacks. It means the expectations for Jonathan Greenard to continue to be a double-digit sack player are going to be extremely high, especially when he gets that much money. But as we've seen from Brian Flores, he has a capability to put players in positions to succeed and maximize their talents and give Jonathan Greenard a great chance to continue to thrive as a Minnesota Viking, as he did last year for the Houston Texans. So a big signing to start off for the Vikings just at the very beginning of the free agency legal tampering period. They take one of the best edge rushers off the board. And now we look at what's the rest of the plan. They still have a lot of spots to fill, a couple of positions on offense. We just saw Landon Dickerson sign a huge contract with the Philadelphia Eagles as a guard. So the Vikings' prices for guards are going to be extremely high. And now how the contract is structured will also matter as well. How much more cap space will they have to work with right away? Could they structure this out more into 2025 so they're kicking the ball down the road a little bit to when they're expected to have more cap space? But overall, one of the top targets in the entire NFL free agency is becoming a Minnesota Viking. It could be a game changer ultimately for the Vikings defense. And also, he could be here for a very long time. Jonathan Greenard has not even turned 27 years old yet. So the Vikings getting a now and later type of signing. This isn't a 32-year-old player that's coming here for 1 year. He could be a part of this defense for quite some time. So it makes sense on a ton of levels for Jonathan Greenard. Also, let's just be honest, probably cheaper than what an older Danielle Hunter would have demanded. So this could ultimately be a better signing for the Vikings to bring in Greenard than it would have been to stick with Danielle Hunter. Of course, in Viking land, we never know exactly what's going to happen. So we'll see what goes on next with the rest of the defensive line. But for now, the Vikings with a big splash, getting one of the best free agent names out there in Jonathan Greenard to go forward with. So we'll have free agency updates, live shows breaking down everything as well here on the Purple Insider YouTube channel. Make sure you stay tuned. Thanks.